Hello, this is OldCrowBalthazor, and welcome to Balthazar's Strategic Arcana. So I'm happy to announce that I have a multiplayer series going with Duedman with the 1943 Operation Citadel scenario. It comes with Strategic Command War in Europe. Let's go and take a peek. I'm going to be featuring Unfortunate Sons counter mods on my point of view. Look at those beauties. I had a video that showed these things. We're going to use them. I'm not sure what Duedman's going to be using. Probably 3D sprites, but you'll be able to see these here. So what I'm going to do is I have this in hot seat mode, and I have the fog of war off just to give everybody kind of a general impression of this scenario. Now, I've never played it before. Except when we decided that Duedman and I both looked at this scenario, we were looking for something where we could just come out the door swinging, both of us. And this scenario looks good, and looking under the hood it's pretty historical too. And we're gonna go take a peek at it. So I have this in hot seat mode for the germ point of view because I want to look at research and all that stuff, and then we're going to look at the Allies, which I call the Wallies and the Soviets. Right? They're allies, but you know how it is. Anyone that knows about World War II. So let's go take a tour real quick. Well, we'll just go through the map. So as you can see over here in the United States, they're assembling forces to assist the British in the West, and it's pretty cool. They have maritime bombers here. Let's zoom in. So if anyone hasn't seen Unfortunate Sons counters, it didn't take me long to get used to these. I'm a NATO guy. I use NATO counters. What's really cool though is he was wondering about middle zoom, and we decided we'll retain NATO. Be too busy, so I get my NATO fix too. I can tell the difference between an army and a corps. Here's a corps right here. So the British and the Americans are getting ready to land in Sicily. So this is a pivotal time in World War II because over in Europe, because Stalingrad had ended, and the Germans suffered a catastrophe, but they did regain a lot of their strength, and they are very dangerous. Let's just say that. So anyway, this will be Operation Husky. Happens at the same time as it'll be landings in Sicily, probably in Italy. I'm not going to give any reveals, but well, you'll see once this gets going. The Italians still have a fairly strong fleet. None of them are upgraded. We'll look at that in a little bit. Over here on the Eastern Front now. Here's what the Germans got arrayed against the Soviets. And if we click this off, the Soviets had built a lot of fortifications around Kursk. It's a bulge, man. Wow. Now, the Germans historically, they attacked and tried to cut off this from here and here. Cut off this whole thing and eliminate this army. As you can see, the Soviets have a nice reserve back here. I'm sure Duedman is not going to do a Citadel. Well, I know this for a fact because he told me. However, I have played this hot seat a few turns and then single player just to get a feel for this. And the Germans are freaking dangerous. They just don't necessarily have to take this on to cause really immense damage to the Soviets. This area in particular. Now he's got units that are not upgraded. We'll look at the research in a second. Let's go look at the front lines. So you can see a lot of their strength is right in here. I love these silhouettes, by the way. And then the fronts here are kind of wide open. Now the Army's got solid zones of control. It's hard for me to get used to the strategic command because I played East Front games since the 70s, especially in the 80s and 90s. Board games, Europa, Russia campaign, which is a classic. But then Gary Grigsby's War in East 1 and then 2 a bit. But War 1, 10 years, and you have solid lines here. However, that will happen here, I'll guarantee you. It's kind of abstract, but it's cool. Now here's Leningrad. It isn't totally cut off. Soviets got to try to maintain this rail line if they can. Now, a lot of the Soviet units are not upgraded to level 2. And we're going to talk about their research and about infantry upgrades because the Soviets got something kind of unique. If anyone's not familiar with war in Europe, it's different than Strategic Command World at War. So another peculiarity is Karelia. There's no Finns here. I don't know. Still don't know why they did that. I'm not criticizing it. I have no idea why there isn't a presence here and a Soviet presence here, but we'll move on. This place will get active. And then a place of critical importance is Murmansk. The convoy lines will come through here, and if it gets cut off, it'll go to Archangel. So I'm pretty certain that there's gonna be action around this area, but there'll definitely be action down here. So I don't really want to ramble, but let's go look. I'm going to talk about the research levels. Let's go to the Germany. It's interesting because one thing I really like about this scenario is it really does a good job of showing the research, the tech levels between the Allies and the Soviets and the Axis powers at this time in the war. So if we take a look, you can see that Germany has anti-tank weapons technology 3 and advanced tanks level 3. The Soviets do also. The Soviets, though, do not start a chit in armored warfare. The Germans do. We're going to go look at the British. The British and the Americans only have tank 2s. So I have played matches before where, as the Germans, where I'm facing British units that got the same tech level tank-wise as I got in 43. That's not really legit, man. The German technology with their tanks was superior. I mean, they called the British or the American tanks, the Sherman stuff, Ronsons, which is the name for a cigarette lighter. If anyone didn't know, I refer to them as my Ronsons all the time. They got hit, they'd go up in flames, right? They weren't bad tanks, they just didn't have the armor, especially the American tanks held later on in the war. The Germans also have Advanced Fighters 3. Their peer is the British. The British do too, and we'll look at that in a little bit. I just want to show you guys this. It's pretty interesting. He does rocket technology. Whether Duedman's going to keep or not, I don't know. We'll look at what Ray's units look like. His rockets are pretty cool. They could be useful, though. I mean, with technology like this, yeah, I mean, but again, I don't know. He might sell those chits. We don't have any house rules except for 2, which came evident later, and I'll bring that up at the end. Just a couple. Anti-aircraft defense. So the Germans have a chit in, and they're at 2, which is good. Production technology, industrial tech. Yeah, a lot of times you see the Germans are already at 4 by this time of the year. You can double check these things, and he may. I'll be following the reports every turn, seeing what or trying to surmise what he's doing. But that's still fair. He has everything with the Germans, command, control, infantry warfare, armored warfare. Aerial warfare is all good. Naval warfare, no. Amphibious warfare, no. So right now I don't have to worry about German AVLs. It doesn't mean that might not happen in the future. Let's go take a look at the Italians real quick. So the Italians, the poor Italians, we'll go look at MPPs and how much they generate, which ain't much. So they got infantry weapons too, at least. Their units were, pretty well equipped. Yeah, not as well equipped as the Germans, but they're pretty much peers. You got to dig them out. Anti-tank weapons level 1, advanced tanks 2. So they're at the same level as the British and the Americans. Everything else, well, it's substandard. They got industrial tech 1 and production 1. So that's actually kind of remarkable. So anyway, we'll zoom in again. So there are a lot of units that he has fully upgraded, but there are areas where the Germans don't. He's got tanks down here, certain aircraft, fighters, bombers that might need to be upgraded. The Romanian army, which is pretty much restricted to their cavalry cavalry divisions and some corps back here. Try holding down partisans, right? Yeah. Not all of them, though. And that'll be kind of a problem for them a little bit. Not too bad. So anyway, it is good. I like it. The Germans actually were established here at this time. I don't know why they did it this way, but that's fine. There'll be action down here, I'll guarantee you. So there'll be a lot of action, and again, like I said, it's going to be like a Fraser Ali fight. I don't know if anyone's old enough that's watching this remembers that thing. Both sides are going to come out. They're angry and they're going to beat the hell of each other. So the Germans, one advantage they have. Another advantage they have is they have what they call interior lines. So whatever I do to him, he can move from one area to the other, right? We got to come at him. We're going to look at victory conditions a little bit too. And we've got German. There's a fleet up here, small fleet. One thing that's interesting is, and we'll look at the convoy lines in a second with that from the Allied point of view. There are convoy lines that go here, but nothing's going to the Soviets till after turn one. I thought it was a bug, but I went and asked it on the forums, and then I found, maybe I should play an extra turn, and I did. I'd be a culpa. Submarines. Submarines are dangerous. The Germans have level 4 U-boats, and he's got about 6 in theater and Atlantic. Let's see, yeah, 1 in Norway, a couple out here. I believe I counted 6, I think. Oh yeah, in the Baltic, so that would count. Some of these aren't all, I think most of them are at level 4. They're going to be a problem. There's not that many of them. But we'll look at the British in a little bit again, and the Americans, what they can do to counter that. But they're dangerous, and he has the remnants of he still has most of his fleet intact. Whether he wants to spend money on it to make him more dangerous, but this fleet here is way out, up here in Narvik, so it'll be hard to get to unless I make a big effort to go hunt him down. So anyway, that's it. So again. Here's the Italian units, and whether he's going to upgrade them or not, I'm sure he will, but it'll be hard for him to resist in Sicily. And let's see on his first moves, brings stuff down. These are Bulgarian units. I was wondering about this, about the flag. But that's just an artifact of the mod. Otherwise, the counter mod is just great. So, anyway, I think that's it. Let's go look at purchases real quick for the Germans. And yeah, he has heavy tanks available. Yeah, right. That's when they're not upgraded. But if you do, this is the beauty of the mod. See, you get a level 2. It changes. Way those tigers with camouflage. Looking at the rockets, yeah, V2s. That's awesome. I just love these counters, Ray. If you watch this, so we could go look at reports and see what we're starting at with national morale. So as you can see, the British are at 80%. France isn't in. United States is at 97. The Soviets are at 73. Now they'll get a boost once there's a landing, I believe, in Italy. But the big one will be if I can get it landed in France with at least 3 units. Here's the Germans. They start at 73. And the Italians at 62. They're fragile. Their national morale. MPP wise. It's not going to show until we get in, but they make about 100. I forgot. Well, you'll see. Duedman will be showing you, or he could tell you. Yeah, so that's not going to be useful right now. So let's go ahead and look at the Allies' point of view. Let's go look at the research and everything. Yeah, we got to run through this. Iraqis disrupt supply. Yeah, you got to have. That's a resource. Partisan strikes break out and turn. Okay. Danish workers strike against German occupation. All right, here's our income right here. 974, not bad, not bad. This convoy lines are running from Norway, Finland, and Sweden. Wolfram imports from Spain and chrome from Turkey. There it is. Italy collects 115 MPP. What went wrong? All right, we're going to go look at the Allies, Soviets. Okay. There's no last turn. All right. Yeah, we got the notifications here. It's pretty cool. Hot seat testing is pretty awesome, but you are hot seating yourself. So some of the tricks I would do is play a turn on one side and then walk away and forget about it for a couple of days and come back and do the other side. Couldn't remember everything was going on, but it's not the same as multiplayer. Comrade, oh, well, I'll wait. I'll keep this for when my opening move. So looking at, we've already looked at this, but that's fine. Let's go look at research. So let's look at the, mind you, we just went through the Germans and Italians. So as you can see, the British also have infantry weapons too. They have advanced tanks too, but they start with a chit, which is good because the British income is pretty low. They have strategic bomber level 2. We're going to go look at their units a little closer. Long range of 2, and they've got chits in, of course. Ground attack, which is going to be really important by 44. They got a chit in. Anti-aircraft defense, yeah, they're going to need it. The German Luftwaffe is still strong and dangerous, especially wielded by Duedman. Because anyone that's ever played them or watched will know. Industrial Tech 1, Production Technology 2. Amphibious Warfare, level 2 going, but they got chit in. They need in command control. The Americans. So now the Americans, they only have infantry level 1. They have a chit in it, but so they are green. So facing Germans, it's going to be rough, man. I'll just guarantee you. They have anti-tank weapons level 2. Advanced tanks level 2 with a chit in. Advanced fighters level 2 with a chit in. Well, they got a lot of chits in here. Level 2 bombers. So the German the Luftwaffe is better, at least especially their fighters. So there's that long range of 2. So not bad. Got 2 chits in ground attack weapons for the United States, which is awesomeness. Because the United States is going to have to prop up Britain and the Soviets for a while, and the British too. We're going to go look at that convoy. I don't think it'll show on this turn. It'll be at the end, or the next turn. The one that goes to the Soviet Union. Anti-aircraft defense. They got chit in command and control, spy and intelligence. Right. Industrial Tech 3. Not bad. Production level 3 with chits in. Now the Soviets is interesting. So the infantry weapons, anyone's not familiar with war in Europe. This is not a feature of World at War, which I know lots and lots of people play. I don't know, I think a lot more in war in Europe, at least what it seems like. So there are actually 3 levels of infantry weapons. So to be a peer with or close peer with German infantry, which is at level 2, you need infantry weapons 3. So this isn't, having this doesn't make you superior to the Germans. You know, like a whole tech level. This just brings it up. So there's more of an incremental approach with the Soviets. They got anti-tank weapons of 3, which is fantabulous, and we'll go look at what they have here again. We'll look a little closer. Advanced tanks level 3, so they're peer. They're peer with the Germans. However, they do not have a chit in. And the first turn, they only have 325, and they're going to be suffering blows from the Germans. And so it's going to be a difficult decision for me whether to get into this, but it is a priority to get into this as fast as possible. I don't want to give spoilers again, but I'll guarantee you I'm not going to let this slide very long. So that because we got a strong tank arm. And we're peer with the Germans, at least for a while, for quite a while, until he gets level 4, and we might be behind him. who will always, the British and the Americans are always going to be behind them. Let's see, the Soviets got advanced fighters too, so they're slightly less by 1 tech level from the Germans, but they're plentiful. Just got to be careful of losing them. But you can resist. You know, it's a war of attrition. Oh, excuse me. Long range, they got a chit in there, but it's 0. Ground attack, same. You won't tell. I get level 2. My Stormoviks are tactical bombers, and well, all my bombers, they won't be that effective. They got a chit mobility. The Germans have mobility already. That's another thing. That's a strong point for the Germans. Anti-air defense. This one is going to be critical. It's going to be difficult. I'm going to have a difficult time against the Luftwaffe, I'll guarantee, for now. Command and control is level 1. Need to put a chit in there. Logistics. Now, this is an interesting thing. They only have a level 1 logistics. And here's Industrial Tech 3. We're going to get back to that. Production 4. That's great. Just remember this. Logistics level 1. Now, I didn't realize this till a little while into the game about this. If you look at all the HQs they got, you have 9 on the map, as far as I know. Well, 9 HQs cannot be supported by level 1 logistics. When we go to purchases, I can't buy any. Well, I just want to give everybody fair warning. I don't want to give spoilers, but if you lose one of these HQs, actually, if you could lose 2 and not be able to buy them back until you get logistics up, they will be red. So if you lose an HQ, you will not be able to get it back, and that's a pretty major deal. So now, of course, you could sack some of there's a couple commanders that aren't really good. You could sack, but you won't be able to increase your HQs until you get back and get into this. So that means throwing down another chip. And I'll just say I wasn't evident at first what was going on. I knew about logistics, and at the bottom it says, if you look down, whoops, I hate that. Build limits for HQs transports are 1 per level. So yeah, but they have more HQs. So if you started the scenario on 39, you wouldn't have this many HQs if you had a logistics level 1. Just saying. So that is it. Is there anything else? I don't think so. So the Soviets have a nice reserve here. Here's their anti-tank weapons. They are not upgraded to level 3 when this fracas begins. However, they're nicely ensconced behind a line of mostly armies. Some of the units, the Soviet units, are really subpar. I mean, they're subpar. Look at here, and they're adjacent, so I can't upgrade them. That's going to be a problem, especially if he comes lunging after me. This is just guarantees a big-ass fucking battle. That would be 9th Armies, and the Soviets did launch on. But of course, the Germans tried to carve down here. Now, I did it. I played SP for about 4 turns as an Axis. See how bad against veteran. I was able to cut this off, and I had it on veteran. And I thought, oh, this is not really any fun unless you just like enjoying beating up against your programmed opponent, right? They call it an AI, but it ain't an AI. We don't want to get in that rabbit hole, but it's not an AI. It wasn't fun for me, but that's why I play multiplayer. I hot seated it. I would step away and then come back, and now there was other options for the Germans, big ones. And Duedman's an expert player, so he'll demonstrate those options, I just guarantee you. But the Soviets are formidable. They'll be pulling in sufficient money. Certain areas of the front, though, they're going to need to upgrade. Some of them they aren't really well dug in. Of course, you want to be in woods if you want to really dig, but there's gaps here. This is a real key place here, or it can be, because you could rail on a bunch of stuff here. So this probably will become a key battleground. Duedman and I have played for, well, when you see this announcement, we've been playing daily except for 1 or 2 breaks. We had stuff going on, of course, and we're not that far in it. Let's just say that. I will guarantee that every turn, because we're not beginning the scenario on 39, every turn is going to be a slugfest. And with some wild stuff, man. And I'm enjoying the hell of it. So I hope you guys all do too. This is my first episode, supposed to air on February 1st, and so is his. The Germans moved first, but we decided he's just going to go up 1 hour later. Mine's going to go up at, as far as I know, at 9 a.m. Pacific time on February 1st, which is a Thursday. And his are going to come up at, I believe, 5 p.m. Central European time, or is it 6? I'm not sure. But right about in the evening. So, evening over in Europe. So in the evening, you guys can catch it or till the next day. But I know a lot of viewers watch my videos in Europe in the evening, because I have mine in the morning, and all day long people can catch it into the evening in the United States and Canada and, well, the old world. So anyway, I can meander on and on. It's fantastic. We are having a lot of fun. I do believe that it's probably going to... victory conditions. I do want to go through this. I'm glad I didn't remember that, or forgot. Let's go to info. So I didn't realize... I've owned this game forever. I didn't realize that they had a separate... strategy guide for these scenarios. I just would jump in and play, and I haven't played this one, so it's a nice one. Some of it's kind of redundant, but it has some interesting things. But let's go right down to the victory conditions. We're down towards the end here. Let's see. Is it? Yeah, here we are. This is really important. This is why this. We both realize that this, unless there's someone makes a really bad mistake, where this could go all the way to the end. When I first started playing, I didn't look at victory conditions. We both assumed it was either like late 45 or 46. No, it goes to 1947. That is an advantage to the Allies if they want a turtle. Maybe. But anyway, winning the war victory conditions. Allies will win. An ally decides victory if at any point they control Berlin, Rome, Warsaw, Paris, London, Moscow, and Washington, D.C. Well, that just sounds... That's doable for the Allies. That's doable. For an Axis decisive victory, the Axis need to capture Paris, Warsaw, Cairo, London, Moscow, Leningrad, and Stalingrad, while also retaining Berlin and Rome. So it's possible, but they got to take Cairo and London. They've already been kicked out of Africa. However, it is possible. Conditions where the Allies can offer terms of the war when U.S. is allied, but France and USSR have surrendered. Well, France has already surrendered, unless it's been liberated, which is an interesting take. So, yeah, going in all in against the USSR, I would not take the decision. I would play to the bitter end. But this is an offer to get out of the game. Yeah, the match if something happens like that. When USA is allied, but France and USSR and Egypt have surrendered, there are no allied units within 6 hexes of Paris and Nantes. When Moscow, Leningrad, and Stalingrad are in Axis hands, and France has surrendered, there are no allied units within. That's possible, but I think I don't really see it happening. However, Germany will be able to consider accepting peace. So these are the conditions that the Allies would get to opt out of the war and give them a major victory. But the match would be over. I won't accept that no matter what. We're going to the bitter end. For Lenin counter Axis route must need to be captured. It's interesting. We don't need that. Now, avoiding stalemate. This is more of a viable outcome. This is interesting because this is exactly what happened to me and the Colonel, my very first YouTube series, playing World at War, and we ended up going all the way to May 1947. And actually, it almost was a stalemate, and in the very last shot, the colonel was able to take Paris, kick out a Panzer Corps that I had in there. He actually evaded when I didn't want to have. But anyway, this is the deal here. Avoiding stalemate. If none of the above had been attained by 8th of May, 1947, then the following conditions will apply. An Axis major victory won if the Axis hold Berlin, Rome, Paris, Warsaw, London, and Moscow. Well, that I think that's going to be a bridge too far, too, London. Moscow, maybe, if he goes all out, but, on Moscow, it's possible, but he would have to take London, too. I just don't see it happening. An Axis minor victory. Now, these last two are the ones that I think are the most attainable, other than a stalemate. An Axis minor victory be won if the Axis hold Berlin, Rome, Warsaw, Paris, and either London or Moscow. It's possible, but this is where those cards are stacked up against them. Because again, London or Moscow is in the picture, and London just got to be hard unless you got the fleets destroyed. Otherwise, the result will be an Allied minor victory if Paris, London, Moscow, and Washington D.C. are still in Allied hands. So I can see how a stalemate could happen if managed to take Paris and London lost Moscow, or a stalemate could happen where I think Germany can't take Moscow or London, but holds on to Paris, right? Because they'll deny me a minor victory. So if I was able to hold them back out of Moscow, London, Washington D.C., which is probably impossible, if some wild wazoo happens, the Germans was what happened to me and the colonel, where I could have got a stalemate out of them. I tried to hold on to Paris the last turn. I was assaulted all the time. So Paris is a key to this game, of course. And anyway, I think that's it. There was something else I was thinking about talking about, but I think I talked enough. Anyway, if we did the victory conditions, yeah, we're fine. So it's going to be it's excellent. And again, I'm older. I played these games for years, and this is way better than keeping my mind occupied with crossword puzzles. Keeps my brain pliable. Respect your elders, though. No, I'm just joking. I'm all good, man. And we are. It is awesome. It's one of the funnest matches I've ever played, and we're just early on into the thing. It's epic. So with that, well, hope you guys all join us and comment away, man. Again, it's fun as hell, and we're really, really enjoying this. So with that, well, I think I'm gonna let y'all go. This is OldCrowBalthazor. See you guys on the virtual battlefields. I am gone.